Hi there, everyone. Thanks so much for joining our webinar. Today, we're actually going to give you some great insights into our awesome new drag and drop editor. Before we get started, let's just take a look and make sure that everything is working properly on the tech side of things. So I know that all of you can hear me. Can you please click on the orange arrow in the upper right-hand corner of your screen so you can expand your chat window? And then next, go ahead and type in something funny or interesting about yourself in the questions field and press send. Don't worry, no one else can see your comments, just me, so you can say whatever you want, like you're singing in the shower, or that you're secretly a Justin Bieber fan, whatever you want. Today is about getting creative, so get creative with your comments. I'm going to minimize this just a bit to make sure that I can see. And do we have any questions coming in? Yes, we have some people. Great, fantastic. All right. These are good comments. Some of these are hilarious. Someone wrote they're actually taking care of their friend's goldfish. Well, congratulations. I wish you and your friend's goldfish all the best. All right, before we begin, and just to give enough people the opportunity to join, I'm going to show you a quick video. Don't worry, not a slideshow of me and my dog on vacation. It's actually a lot more relevant to our editor. So here we go. Ta-da, you see that? Not a single dog picture. All right, looking here at the attendees, I think it looks like everyone has joined. So I think we can go ahead and get started. Right, just a quick note moving forward. If you do have any questions that pop up in your mind as I'm going, just go ahead and type them into the same chat box where you typed interesting things like, you know, taking care of your friend's goldfish and all that. I'm going to make sure to answer all of your questions basically at the end of the webinar. So if you're dying to get your answer right away, just stick around afterwards and I'll be happy to answer them live. Or otherwise, I can send them to you via email if you're not able to stick around. So first off, I'd like to properly introduce myself. My name is Daniel, and I'm the Solutions Manager here at Moosend. Today's webinar is actually all about me making your life easier. So what I mean by that is I'm not offering to wash your car. I'm not offering to do your taxes. But hopefully I'm going to show you how to use some of Moosend's new powerful features on our drag and drop editor. So since today's webinar is all about the editor, I'm going to make sure that you learn at the end two very important things. The first one is how easy it is to design a great looking newsletter from scratch, even if you're like me and you don't know any HTML. And the second one is really how to use a ready-made template library. So you can quickly grab one of the templates we've made for you, tweak it to your needs, and instantly have your own beautiful email ready to go. So I do think, before we get started, it's important to mention that since we're constantly developing new features on Moosend, it's a really good idea, if you haven't already, to subscribe to our newsletters. You can go to our homepage and go to the bottom and subscribe there. So you'll get notified basically about all of the latest features just as soon as they're released. We're constantly sharing a lot of insider tips, tricks, and little known secrets on how you can improve your email marketing techniques. And hopefully that's going to translate into a lot more subscriber and reader engagement for you, which should mean more money. And we all like money here, right? If you don't, you can go ahead and send it to my PayPal directly. And okay, so hopefully everyone can see my screen. What I want to do is show you around some of the basics of the navigation of the editor. So let's start off with the very basics. Right over here is structure. Essentially, in structure, you're defining how you want the layout of your newsletter to be displayed. So you've got full width container, half width, 1/3, 2/3, 2/3, a ton of different options for the layout. Then we go to elements. In elements, essentially, you're defining what kind of content you're going to populate the structure containers with, such as images, text, buttons, articles. Articles are kind of like photos with a caption. Spacers for that all-important space so everything's not scrunched up together. We've got your social share buttons, your social follow buttons, and a very cool thing, which is an HTML kind of container. So you can go ahead and copy and paste in your own HTML if you have that. So let's go to the top menu buttons in the editor. We also actually, before I move on to that, have settings. So what's cool about the general settings is essentially you can define everything in the newsletter. If you want everything to be a certain font size, or you want a border width or a background color, you can go ahead and do that, and it's going to apply to all. So we'll talk a little bit about the top buttons up here, which are new to some of you who used to use our old editor. But the very first one here is the Save Your Newsletters to Your Drafts folder button. So essentially, if you're not done working on your newsletter and you've got to go feed your cat, or I guess your friend's goldfish, maybe your pet pig or something, don't know why you have a pet pig, but whatever. Your drafts are going to be waiting here for you when you're ready to finish them. Second button here is quite cool. It's a Save As Template. So it means when you're done creating the Mona Lisa of all email templates and you want to use it again in the future, you can go ahead and do that. So you just save that template and it's going to be on hand, ready and waiting for you. The third one is a draft folder. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. It's literally just a folder for your drafts. Clear? Good. Now, this one is my absolute favorite. It is the undo button. If you're like me, you tend to make a lot of mistakes. I'll probably make mistakes during this webinar. You'll use the undo button all the time. Sadly, the undo button only works for emails and not in everyday life. Believe me, I've tried it. I've literally stood in front of my girlfriend when she has that, that angry face, and I'm just standing there pressing undo, undo, undo. It did nothing. So one day, you never know, maybe we'll have our tech team create something that works in real life, but until that time, I'm going to be sleeping on the sofa. So if you totally screw up and you want to start from scratch all over again, you can always hit the clear button. So that's going to wipe out everything that you've done and you start all over again. Sometimes it's best, believe me. One of the great things actually that we have now is also the templates library, and that button is right over here. We'll go into that a little bit later. Over here we have preview. That's very cool because when you're creating your email, you're going to be able to see in preview how it's going to look across many different devices. So whether it's desktop, tablet, or mobile, you can all check that out in preview over there. Another cool thing is the code view. So if you're like me, you don't know any HTML. For me, this is literally Chinese, but if you know HTML, you can go ahead and put your code directly in there. So you can see there. And then over here, we've got split view. I like split view because as I'm actually dragging and dropping, I can see the HTML being created right in front of my eyes. Maybe one day that's going to teach me HTML, maybe not. Over here, we've got the helper grid. So going back to design view, when we've got a helper grid, let's say I wanted to grab something like a full width container, and we turn on the helper grid, that's going to give me little prompts like add structure or add elements, essentially. And if you're new to creating newsletters, it might be nice for you to have it on. I'm going to toggle back and forth between on and off, just whatever's convenient for me. You do whatever is good for you as well. We've grabbed already a full width container from the structure section. And what we're going to do is go ahead and upload a logo. So let's use an image. Now, I'm going to go double click here. And I've got some pre-prepared images. Let's go ahead and bring up our first logo. Now, all emails have a purpose. So I'm going to give you some imaginary business cases throughout the webinar, and it should help contextualize a little bit what we're trying to do here. Remember, with emails, it's not really just about making a beautiful email. It's also about getting your subscribers to do what you want them to do. So whether that's reading your latest blog post or ordering your newest product, maybe even just liking you on social media, you know, you really have to plan your email out with a certain goal in mind. For this example, let's imagine that we're actually creating an awesome shoe company, and we own this company. It makes beautiful handmade Italian shoes. And because, again, I'm super creative, let's call it Daniels, as you see here in this glorious, glorious logo. Now, since we are constructing it with a certain goal in mind, let's go further in the business case a little bit. Let's say that we're actually going to be launching a new awesome shoe that we're launching, you know, at Daniels eShop. And basically, we want to announce it to our customers. We want them to end up being so enticed by this beautiful email that they're going to click on the call to action button at the bottom and hopefully visit the eShop. Now, also, we're going to include a footer. And the footer, aside from just looking good, is going to include our social media accounts at the bottom. Believe me, I see a lot of emails. And if you don't have a social media account, people are going to think you're an absolute psychopath, that you're not a real company. You've got to show them you've got a LinkedIn page, you're a real company, you've got friends on Facebook, followers. Remember, just, you know, don't be a psychopath. Let them know that you're real. And if you don't have anyone already on social media, you can add me. I'll follow you. I'll be your friend. Just make sure they know that you're not sitting up in some cottage somewhere in the mountains with your 50 cats emailing them like a weirdo. Okay, right, so let's go on. So what did we say? We're going to launch a really cool new product. So let's go ahead and drag another full width structure in here. We can actually just click add here and click another full width container. And we're going to go ahead and upload a new image. As things get more complicated, I'm just going to toggle on and off just to keep the helper grid out of the way so we see what we're creating. And ba-bam, here is our very cool product. All right, we're showing, you know, basically the new style of shoe that we're doing, and we've got a beautiful new photo. We're going to have to go in and describe that a little bit. We do have to put in some text, let's remember. So what we're going to do is go ahead under that, add another element, and we're going to describe that a little. Let's select that as the text, and here we're going to insert some pre-written text here. And one thing I want to mention, when you're copying and pasting, if you're doing like I'm doing right now, I'm copying and pasting from Word, you can either just go in and copy and paste, which will not show up with the format we want, or you can click this handy button here and it says paste from Word. So if you do a paste from Word, hopefully that will work out. Looks a little wonky here, but I can go ahead and correct it. So let's just highlight that and then make sure that we're nice and centered here. Beautiful. And now we have some cool descriptive text. Now what we want to do is really show off the products. So we're going to drag and drop another structure here, and that's going to be a half and half width container. So we're going to have 1/2 and 1/2. And we're going to start off with images of those new shoes. I'm going to just put an image there, an image there. We're going to add under that a little name for each shoe. So let's go ahead and put some text under that. Don't worry, we'll populate these in a second. If the user is absolutely falling in love with them, we want to give them an option to go ahead and add that to the cart right away. So what we're going to do is actually put a button under each one, which is going to be adding to cart. And now let's go ahead and populate. So on the left one, can you guess which one we're going to use? Yes, the left shoe picture. On the right, any takers? Right shoe picture. Very smart audience. All right, now we're going to insert some text. So let's put the name and a very, very small description of what that shoe is under each one. Again, we want to keep the formatting, so we're going to go ahead and do that there. And the same thing over here. Right. Fantastic. So now we've got a beautiful image, the names, a very short description. Remember, people nowadays in the internet age have the attention span of a carrot. So you really want to show, not tell. Make sure you've got a lot of images, you're light on the words, and you're really inviting them in with more imagery than descriptions, because in the end of the day, people just simply don't read. So what we're going to do is now, as I said, we want to add some very cool buttons if the user falls in love with it right away, and we're going to add to cart, and they want to do that. So let's click on this button element. We're going to leave here, as you see, whenever you click on something, you're going to get a lot of different options to tweak things, right? So we're going to go ahead and leave this background color as transparent. We're going to change the button color to black. So you can just click on the color. If you've got a certain color code that you want to use, you can go ahead and paste it in there. Otherwise, you can play around. I'm just going to go for a simple black. I'm going to do that over here as well. Actually, I'm going to show you something cooler later on. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do it on just the one. Now, label color. We're going to make that white so it's nice and easy to read on the black background. And we're going to go ahead and change the label to add to cart. Wonderful. Let's go ahead and make that nice and bold so the user can read that. And we're going to change the width of the button to full width. Beautiful. Let's put a little padding in there. Well, it's already at 12. I think that's actually probably good. Let's change the margin a bit though. So let's change that margin so the button's not going all the way to the edge. I think that looks nice. And I think that's a good looking button. Obviously, when you're going to be creating this button, you go ahead and put in your link here. Again, we'll just use moosend.com, spelled properly. And the beautiful thing now is I did all of that work on that one button. And let's go ahead and select this button. We're going to delete it. Yes, let's remove that. And now here, we're going to click on this button, highlight it again, and do you see this? This is very handy. Duplicate. Ba-boom. We now have the same button, same specifications, everything ready to go. So Now we're going to go over to the row settings. One important thing to notice is that whenever you've got a row, basically you can change all of the settings by clicking any of these buttons. That will delete the entire row. That is going to move it. This will duplicate the entire row. We're going to go to the row settings here, and what we're going to do is add a little bit of space between the buttons as well as the pictures in the entire row, and kind of adjust that slot spacing a bit. So we've clicked on this, and we're going to go up to slot spacing and watch what happens between the two pictures. Let's move that up to about a 5, maybe a 6. Okay, I think that looks good. Let's also add a bit of space between the buttons and our main call to action. So we're going to add structure down here, and we'll put in a full width container, and we're going to add the ever important spacer. I get a lot of people asking me, how do I create space? Everything is on top of each other. It doesn't look good. Well, you add a spacer. So we've added a spacer here. We're going to leave that as is. I think we can go ahead and probably add another one now. We'll just add that as well, and in between that we're going to add our main call to action. So let's just click button, and we've got our 2 spacers in between. I'm going to try and drag and drop that so it's in between. It is wonderful. And so what we're going to do with this is we're going to design a very, very nice call to action button here. So let's go ahead and change a bit of the call to action button. We're going to change the label color down here to black, right? If we just select here. And then let's go ahead and link that again. My God, to Moosend. Surprise. And we're going to change the button label to whatever we want to put. In this one, we want Explore Shop. We want to give people the option to go and explore more of the shoes, right? Now we're going to go ahead and make sure it's nice and bolded again. I'm a big fan of bold. And let's put in a little border width. If we can find that right here. Not too much, just a little bit. And I'm a big fan. I'm an Apple fan. I like to, you know, play with the corners like, you know, Steve Jobs did. We've got a beautiful corner radius there. So you get a great looking button. Let's turn off the helper grid just for a second so you can take a look. That's an awesome button. Now, let's go in and actually add another spacer, because what we're going to want to do is create our footer. So I'm going to turn the helper grid back on, and you're going to add another element, and we'll put in a spacer here. Now what we're going to do, because it's a footer, is actually change the color a little bit. So we're going to keep the color consistent with the entire footer. So right now it's just a default transparent. Remember how I said if you have a specific color code, you can go ahead and copy that right in. Now we've done that, so it will change the color of the spacer. We're going to go ahead and actually add another element, which is going to be our social media follow. Very important. You're not in the village, in the mountain somewhere with your cats. You've got social media followers. So here we go. We've got our social follow buttons. We're going to go ahead, because it's still within the footer, we're going to go ahead and make sure that it's got the same background color as the spacer does, right? And we're going to adjust the spacing, I think, just to keep those a little bit separate. Awesome. And basically, let's add another spacer under the footer, and it's going to look just basically like this. So, but let's add another one so it has a nice kind of look to it. And we're going to keep that same footer color that we had from before. Awesome. So now we have all of the social media. You can center it, you can default. all that kind of stuff. One of the things you can add, if you don't have Facebook, you take off Facebook, have Facebook. Come on, everyone's got Facebook. Put on Facebook. If you've got Pinterest or YouTube, all that kind of stuff, you can do that. And then, of course, put your links in there as well. You can also actually change the icon style too. Personally, I think, if we keep it a nice cool color like that, it'll look pretty good. Now, what I want to show you is basically what I said about the responsiveness. So what we want to do here is we want to go to settings. We're already in settings. Make sure you're in general. And we're going to see this box here. It's called Cascade All Blocks for Responsiveness. Very important to have checked. I'm going to uncheck it and then recheck it. So you see, this is the little prompt you'll get. Basically, as you see in the animation here, it's going to change your horizontal elements and containers down into vertical containers. So it's going to look beautiful across all different devices. Very, very important. So now that we've done that, we're going to preview our beautiful email that we've just created. Give it a second to load. Still loading. Beautiful. All right, look at Daniel's awesome new shoes. We've got this, the add to cart buttons, our main CTA, and our social shares, all linked properly. Let's look and see what happens when it goes to tablet. Now, what you'll notice is that we've got one stacked on top of another, and it's still looking gorgeous, right? And then, same thing with mobile, even more so. Looking very good. Awesome. So, that is how to make a very, very sexy email from scratch, all in a matter of minutes. And give me a moment to drink this delicious water, or so you think it is. Could be vodka, could be ouzo, you never know. And I'm going to show you an even faster way how to create your next beautiful email using the templates. Stay tuned. Very good. Now, let's go back to edit mode. We're going to clear everything because now we know how to build those very, very quickly. What we're going to do is actually go into the template library, and I'm going to walk you through this. So the template library is actually a very, very cool place to start, especially if you need a bit of inspiration or you want to use some industry standard templates. So the cool thing is that they're actually categorized by theme. So if you want to do something using e-commerce, you can scroll down, find your e-commerce theme. If you want to do something for your company or corporate feel, you can go and find that. So definitely it's a great place to start from for a little bit of inspiration. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and I'll show you a bit of the basics. So let's look at all of these up here. We start with my favorite templates. Now my favorite templates, basically, you can just simply save it into that folder by clicking this little heart over here, and there you go. It's saved into my favorite templates. It's adorable. Then you've got my save templates. So those are all the ones that I told you before. When you're making your own Mona Lisa of templates, whether you're using ours from scratch or you're using your own from scratch, or you're using ours and adjusting it, and you know you're going to want to use it in the future, go ahead and put it in my save templates. You'll have it whenever you need it. Then finally, you've got the only public templates. Only public templates are the ones that we've created for you in order to use as a starting point. So basically, you're going to have the opportunity to, work off of something that we've created for you and adapt it and really make it your own. So you can also actually, now that I think about it, search for a template. And you can search the template using just the title of that template. I think it's a bit weird to remember template titles, but whatever floats your boat. So let's also get into another business case. Are you ready? All right. I want you to actually close your eyes this time, and I want you to imagine that you're a VIP real estate agency. Seriously. So close your eyes and imagine it. It's pretty cool, right? So you own a VIP real estate company and it rents exclusive properties in beautiful destinations all around the world. And honestly, I've got to say, I'm kind of jealous of your job right now. But keep your eyes closed. Keep your eyes closed. You want to promote one of your top new villas in Corfu. All right. This is going to go out to your most elite clients, and you want to see if you can convince them to book a stay at this villa this summer. Are your eyes still closed? Well, stop it. You're not going to learn anything from the editor that way. Open your eyes. All right. So let's click on the only public templates right here. And we see already in the second one, we have this beautiful one that explains, about a property. So if you go into preview template, it's very handy when you're browsing because essentially you can go in, preview, see what it's going to look like, by scrolling down all of the elements, and you can check it out on desktop, tablet, mobile, all of that, and kind of see what you're dealing with here and decide if you want to use it. Let's say that we're happy with this one and we're going to go ahead and use this template. More water. Now, let's turn off the helper grid to keep things a little bit clear. In this particular template, let's say that there's a little bit at the bottom here that we don't actually want to keep. So we really like, the top bit, the pricing, the buttons. These photos look great. The colors even match. But let's say that, we don't offer trips or any of this. We want to keep it a little bit more simple. So remember that row feature. You can go ahead and just from the template, just start deleting rows. And this prompt will come up. You can say, don't show it again, and it won't annoy you anymore. So let's go ahead and delete that row. Let's delete that row. Now I think we've got a pretty good and simple looking template, which is going to be really awesome for promoting our cool villa. So let's go back to the top here. And what we're going to do is we're going to plug in our logo. So let's get rid of this one. And now when we click on something that already exists, the easiest way to do it, to replace one picture with another, is just, you guessed it, hit replace image. So I'm going to go over to my downloads here, find my proper image. I want this one. We're going to call this beautiful Villa Levante. So look at that logo. A bit weird, a bit stretched. This is a good opportunity to tell you that basically you can resize the logo by grabbing this little bit and pulling it as big or as small as you want. Or you can use these buttons over here on the left. This one will crop the image, so if you have to get rid of any background, you can do that. You can click on this one, which is natural size. So that's going to actually take you to the natural size of the image, and this one is full width. So let's go back to natural size because I think that's a very, very good looking logo as is. And basically, we're going to go ahead and leave in breathtaking views, because once you see this villa, I think you'll agree it does have breathtaking views. But from our hotel, not really relevant, we're going to go ahead and put in from our Corfu villa. Great. Now let's get rid of this text here, and we'll put in some explanatory text of our own. And I think we can go ahead and just grab some from over here. Always remembering, if you want to keep your format, that you're going to click on this button over here. Great. Looks good. Now, what we're going to want to do is actually upload a beautiful picture of our villa. We're going to go here, replace image, and we'll go for header villa. That's going to be our main image, which is really going to attract the users. It should be impressive. I don't know about you, I'd like to have vacation there. So I think it's a good spot. So let's go ahead and then change the price. Does that look like it goes for $6.79 to you? Not me. Let's instead say that we're offering basically a 1-week stay, and we're going to give it for the very, very reasonable price. Let's delete that there and make sure that we click in there. Of, 20,000 pocket change, right? And instead of learn more, what we're gonna do here is just click, because I like the button. Let's just click that and put book now. Awesome. Let's go down and upload a new image here. Great. Another image here. Fantastic. And last but not least, our fourth image here. Beautiful. It is not a deluxe snow villa, so we are going to go ahead and make sure that we've got everything sorted in terms of the actual titles. Let's go in and just replace that text very briefly. Let's unbold that. Great. 2 weeks. What do you think is fair, guys? I don't know. Let's call it 38,000. We'll give a little off that discount. And again, we're changing the button here from learn more to book now. Let's change that as well. Book now. And go ahead and make this 3 weeks. I'm glad it's not a snow villa. I'm ready for summer. I don't know about you. Update our nice description here. There we go. We're going to unbold to match the other one. At a more appropriate price. 55. For 3 weeks, it's a bargain. And then finally, our last description on the 4th, which is 1 whole month at this gorgeous, gorgeous villa for our most exclusive clients. Awesome. Yep. Let's go ahead and make sure that we've kept our formatting. There we go, that's better. We want that nice and bold. And our description. And finally, 1 month at that place. I don't know. It's got no price, guys. It has no price. I'm ready to book it now. Great. And let's change this one to book now as well. Awesome. So we can go ahead and update, the address and all of that kind of good stuff. Let me go ahead and do it very, very quickly for you. Contact details. We're going to make sure that we keep it nice and clear. And then we're going to do the address over here. And we're almost done, guys. Let's go in and center that. Make sure it's white and everyone can read it. Oops, wrong one. Famous undo button. We love the undo button. All right, going back in. Centering text. Trying to actually just do the text and not the background. Success. Awesome. So there you have it, guys. Let's make sure that in settings we've got it cascaded. We do. Let's take a look at this beautiful, beautiful email we've just created. Waiting for it to load as always. It has done. Do you know what? There's one thing that I would actually tweak in this. Let's go back to edit mode. And I'm going to show you something, because when I uploaded this photo, what that did was offset a little bit the margin. So remember, if you want to move a whole row over, we're going to actually go into the settings here, and we're going to take the row padding, and let's bring it down to actually like a 5, a barely there row padding. Awesome. Now it's kind of in line with the photo. Let's take a look at how it looks. Okay, now we're talking. This is a great looking email, and I'm ready to book. Very, very cool. Checking it out from tablet. Awesome. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And mobile. Again, I'm ready for summer. Let's do it. Okay, so that's it. In a very, very short time, we've shown you how to create from scratch, as well as to use one of our templates and kind of go in and tweak everything. So that's it for the main part of the webinar. Basically, what I want to go in and do is, before we start with the Q&A, I wanted to let you know that we actually have 2 very exciting updates. The first is actually that we're going to be hosting another webinar in the coming weeks, and that's going to be more of a deep dive. This was a bit basic. It was an introduction to the new editor. The deep dive is actually going to show you more cool things like strike-throughs, identifying specific color codes, split code view, theming your newsletter with your company's color palette, a lot more really sophisticated stuff that you can do. So for all of you budding designers out there, be sure to stay tuned for news on that. And the last thing that I want to let you know is very, very soon, we're actually going to be releasing some really powerful automation triggers. Typically, in most automations, what you see is that it's going to be based on subscriber behavior on your email campaign. So if they didn't open your previous campaign, you might send them a reminder. You know, that's the usual stuff. Now, what we're doing with our very, very cool new automations is we're actually taking a massive step further. So you're going to actually be able to send and automate campaigns based on a customer's website behavior. Now, imagine that you've got, you know, a restaurant and it's got a loyalty program. If you keep buying hamburgers, then on the 12th you get a free one. You see that someone's interested in this loyalty program, and knowing that he's browsed that on your website, you can go ahead and wait 2 days and send him targeted information about your loyalty program. Another very cool business case is that we're going to have an abandoned cart automation. So if you have an e-shop and someone's, you know, off about to purchase a product, adds it to cart, then gets distracted because, you know, goldfish, got to take care of the goldfish, and forgets to ever make his purchase, well, you can go ahead and send an automated email reminder 15 minutes later, reminding him to complete his purchase. And what that means is you've actually just saved a sale that you would have lost otherwise. So really, really cool, really, really important stuff. Now that that's announced, I'm going to open up to the questions part. So if you want, please go ahead and type in any more questions that you may have, and I'm happy to answer them live. Otherwise, if you want, you can type in some questions and I can send them to you by email. All right, awesome. So let's see what kind of questions we have. What's up with the cats? I don't know. I don't know, but you know, 50 is just too many. All right, so let's go into some more questions here. Is the button only monochromatic? That's a good question. I believe that it is for now. However, with I believe some trickery and some coding, which we can go into the deep dive stuff, I think that you can probably go ahead and update that. I'm gonna have to get back to you on that because I don't want to give you misinformation. That's cool. Okay, that's not really a question, but thank you. Can we add a link? Can we add the link? If you can't see the newsletter, please click here and redirect to a page. Great question. That's actually added automatically. So you're going to see that, all of your subscribers are going to see that whenever you send a campaign, basically in the email client. So great question there. Can you have two links in one image? Good question. Don't believe so. No, I've never heard that. What you could do theoretically is create another image that says something similar, and basically what you're going to do is, you know, use different UTM links in order to track what the users are clicking on. I think we've got to actually wrap up for now, so I'm going to take the rest of them, I'm sorry about that, by email because I do see a lot. And thank you so much for watching, and hope to see you around. You've got right here my email address. I'm going to put it very, very large on the screen for you here. It's simply daniel@moosend.com. Send me your questions, comments, everything, and very, very happy to answer it for you. Hope to see you in the next webinar, and have a great, great day.